Hello, everyone. So, yeah, it's thunderstorming here in the great state of Pennsylvania. So, at any point, we could see. I don't know if I lose electricity, we should be fine. We're on a laptop that should be running, but we won't have Wi-Fi, so we'll know it. You'll know it for sure. Just switch over quickly to my phone Wi-Fi if we lose electricity. But we're gonna try to do our best here.
The show will be ending very quickly if that happens.
Yes, yes, you'll know right away. Okay, very good. So I got a couple fun things today to talk about from Reddit that I found today, which is kind of nice. Yeah, let's go from there. So you guys have anything fun to talk about to start the show? Or we should just start on it.
Well, no, we should start with Russ's tour of the poutineery yesterday.
Yeah. So.
Wait, well, hold on. Yes, explain what happened here. Sorry.
So Anthony, well, first off, I want to tell people I'm wearing the American Humane Association shirt. I'm actually part of their rescue team, so it's not like I just bought it. I actually was trained for it, so I do recommend them highly. We'll just go with that. But
okay.
For the poutinery, we there's a place called Smokes, which they're popular in Canada and Montreal and Toronto, and I guess there's a few locations now in the U.S. and Philly's got one.
Really?
Yes. So Anthony and I went there, but I went there with the instruction that I was going to, for myself, that I was going to eat the vegan gravy because they have a vegan gravy. And so like this created like a stir on Twitter because you get all the vegan bashing, like you bash with your wife, same thing. And so all the vegan bashing. And look, I'm not eating a vegan dish. Like there was cheese in it. I eat cheese. Some things I do eat vegan, but obviously I wasn't going to eat pork-based or beef-based gravy. It was great, by the way. The fries were awesome. The cheese curds were really good, and the gravy was really good. I even brought one home for my wife, and that's how good it was, and she liked it. And so what I did was I kept it all separate. Mike is cringing, but, Mike just doesn't understand that if something's good, it's good. He's just got this preconceived notion because he's had it in Buffalo that it's going to be the same here.
No,
and it might not
I had it in Toronto, and I tried it. I gave it like everybody was like, poutine is great. You got to try it.
Yeah,
and
did you get it at the same place that I'm talking about?
Let's explain what poutine is for people because
poutine is basically French fries with, as Russ said, cheese curds, which is a different consistency than regular cheese. It's like it's more to me, it's more it's less elastic than cheese when you melt it.
Well, maybe the Canadian version. See, here's the other difference, Mike. They're using Wisconsin cheese curds here in the States because they obviously don't want to import Canadian cheese.
Right. And gravy. Now, in Buffalo, since I've grown up, I mean, around here, like most places would all have fries with gravy. And, fine. It's not my cup of tea. But I gave poutine a chance. I went up to Toronto. It wasn't the place that you went to, Russ, but it was another place. And tried poutine, and I thought it was gross. I didn't like it.
See, but I'm saying everybody's gravy is probably different. Yeah. Try this place's, and this place's has American cheese. Like, here's the funny thing. I always make this joke when I'm in Canada. When you're in Canada, you never see on the menu American cheese.
Right. They
don't want to put it, but they obviously use it because there's no Canadian cheese substitute.
See, I admit I'm strange.
But they do make cheese.
No. Let me finish that stream of consciousness. I admit that I'm strange when we have Thanksgiving. When, by the way, Thanksgiving in the States is in November. In Canada, it's in October.
Yes.
And we have turkey, with stuffing and gravy. I put my gravy in a cup, and I dunk the turkey in the gravy rather than pour it all over my plate and mess things up. I don't like the mess. That's one thing.
Wait. So you don't like the gravy when it intersects with the mashed potatoes?
No, I don't. I put butter on my I put butter on my mashed
potatoes. Yeah, you've got to.
What's wrong with you?
I put butter on my mashed potatoes. I don't put gravy in my mashed potatoes.
You got to do a sessions on this whole thing and include yourself, whatever.
So there's something that happened in your childhood, Mike, that makes you act this way.
No, but I like French fries.
If you don't like mashed potatoes and gravy, you gotta recluse yourself.
No, I like butter in my mashed potatoes. I like a little, maybe some, little sour cream or whatever, but not.
You could still have the butter in the mashed potatoes when you make them, and then put the gravy on them, and it's really good.
No, but I like my French fries with malt vinegar, like the English style with malt vinegar, and my buffalo twist on it. Either I dunk them in hot sauce or in blue cheese. That's me.
All right, I like French fries with mayonnaise, which is like a European thing.
That's a European thing, yeah.
And I do like it. It's really delicious. But I will also say that I will not eat mashed potatoes without gravy.
Okay.
Like that to me.
Which I understand. I do.
That to me is a major thing. Like, and my family I used to get on them about this because we would have the biggest Thanksgiving dinners ever, huge amounts of things, and like the smallest amount of gravy for an entire table, which to me was like not acceptable. So that doesn't happen anyway. But no, I think that. At this place, where in Philly is it? Where is it located?
It's in it's right by the Theater of the Living Arts, so it's off of South Street.
All right.
And so it's easy to find. Actually, when I was eating there, a lot of people didn't know about it. One girl was mouthing to me from walking by. She's literally walking by. She's like, "How is it?" And I put my thumb up, and she's like, "Great." Kept walking, didn't even miss a beat. Another couple walked in and said, "Do you have a menu?" And they're like, "No." And it's like, it's up on the board, and then they're like, well, what the hell is this place? Like, they had to be explained to them. What I think is funny, too, and I put a picture up on my Instagram on Sportsology, the guy's face, the Smokes guy, has his picture over the Rocky, basically the Rocky body. And so, and I laughed at that. I thought that's hilarious for Philly. And so, I think, and the music there was like 90s metal.
Really?
So we walked in, and it was like Judas Priest, and then we heard Rat, and then we heard like Ozzy.
See, Rat is perfect because if I ate poutine, my stomach would go round and round.
They weren't playing that song, and they played Queensryche too.
A little Operation Mindcrime. There you go.
Oh boy! All right, let's get going here. Ready?
Sure.
Yeah.
And I'm picking up my Drink-A-Toast bottle tomorrow. I'm really
Jesus.
dropping the dog off.
We'll call the Center for Disease Control.
Yes. So a quick housekeeping stuff. So on Patreon, if you like we said, if you become a Patreon member before, I'm going to say the end of next week, we'll do we'll do something special for you guys as well. So patreon.com/hockey. It's going on now. If you become a member, then you can read the post, and I put a post in there today about how to get me your address and how to get me things like that. So check it out for sure. That's good stuff. And I won't be in next week. I'm going to be accompanying my daughter to the Maccabi games in Miami, which is like it's a really cool Olympics type thing. She's playing for Team Philly, defending their gold medal from last year, which was in St. Louis. So I will be in Miami. I may pop in, of course, as the week goes on, depending on what happens. But I'm sure I'll pop in. It'll be hard not to. I'll be vlogging and everything like that still. But Mike and Russ will be running the show for the most part next week. So, it'll be fun stuff. So let's get going. Here we go. Ready? Hockey World. And I'm sitting back today because I have a terrified dog on my lap who's afraid of the thunderstorm. So you see her. I'm not. This is actually dog is real. She's just completely terrified of the thunderstorm, so she will not leave my side. Here we go. Ready? Hello, Hockey World. It's Wednesday, August 2nd, 2017.
I'm president of the Anti-Poutine Alliance, Michael Agello.
I'm a disgusted Russ Cohen.
And I'm Eklund. You're watching HockeyBuzzcast on HockeyBuzz.com. It's the podcast that comes to you every Monday through Friday at this time to fill you in on the comings and goings in the hockey world. And interesting thing here, coming out now is a report that Jaromir Jagr may have been promised a contract from the Panthers at the end of the season last year. And yet, of course, has none right now. And I don't think is getting one. There's been a lot of changes with the Panthers. So I'm curious.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, there's a regime change there.
Right.
Well, the question is, who made the promise? If it was Tom Rowe.
It doesn't even matter, though, right?
No. I think it does, because if it's Tom Rowe and he's no longer there, or his situation is minimized, then the promise is not worth anything. If it was Dale Talon, and he's the general manager now, and he abrogated a promise, then I think it stinks. If it's the owner,
we're in the 21st century. Who believes in the handshake agreement anymore? Anybody?
Yeah. I do, but I think that, and I think a lot of, I mean, you definitely do see it in the business world. It's not nearly as prevalent, for sure. I agree with you there. But yeah, I'm a little suspicious of this too. I mean, not to say that not Jagr's lying or anything, but I think what could be happening here is maybe perhaps like a misunderstanding of
That's what I think this is. I think this is that conversation that we've talked about before, like when the agent talks to the team and they sort of butter you up and say, yeah, we really like him. We're thinking about bringing him back for next year. Maybe it went something like that. But to me, that doesn't constitute anything.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. And yeah, I think that's exactly it. More along the lines of, we'd love to bring you back.
Right.
But not like, that doesn't mean we're going to get you. We're going to give you a contract. It's just, of course, we'd love to bring you back. We've got to see where we are. And I don't think there's a real huge rush for Jagr, personally, to pick a team here. Although I'm sure he wants to know he's still playing.
Here's the thing. I don't think he gets to pick a team anymore.
Yeah.
He's not in that position now.
And I think that Jagr could be the kind of player who, he could wait a little while even into the season. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. I mean, he doesn't obviously, each year he's gotten less effective as the year goes on, I think, and he tends
that's why I think the Olympic thing makes sense. I think if we don't see him in the first couple months of the season, I could see him walking onto the Olympic team and then right after the Olympics get a job and be more effective. Just as
But the only way is if he maintains that work ethic that he's had over the last few years. I mean, if you're a guy who knows that you're going to not play in the NHL until March, and you psychologically sort of just go off on one direction, and you come back in March and you have lost another step or two, or you're not as physically fit as you were, your career is over with. I mean, I think he needs to sign with somebody and play through the season for him to be a contributor. I get the point. It's the Matt Sundin thing from a few years ago where he was a UFA. He came back in January, and you know what? He was not the same, and he was 5 years younger than Jaromir Jagr. So I think for Jagr to be a contributor, for him to continue his career, maybe he's not going to be a 20 to 25 goal scorer anymore, but if he wants to continue his career, I think he's got to hook up with a team at the beginning of the year and play out the season.
I mean, he's shown a picture of himself shirtless. He's still in great shape.
Yeah.
I'm sure the legs are still pretty good. I think, look, can he be out there for long shifts? No. Can he be out there for 25 minutes a game? No. Or even 20 minutes a game? Probably not. I mean, you probably want to use him ideally as like a 13-minute player.
Right. And I think you want to make sure that he is out there helping your younger players, and he's like a player coach at this point.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be shocked at all.
Voracek, I mean, if you ever just want to interview two players and ask the impact that Jagr had on them, go for it. I'm sure.
There's but they had a huge impact in Philadelphia, and if injuries fall with certain teams, and he goes to the Olympics, he could end up, if being a good pickup for somebody, like almost a trade deadline acquisition, and then he doesn't have to play as much. The hard thing of that, I think, for him would be kind of what you're saying, Mike, in terms of like if he doesn't play,
right?
At his age, he's got to really work hard to stay in shape.
Right. Hey, I've got breaking news. It's loosely related to hockey.
All right, go ahead.
So, Queen Elizabeth, who's in charge of Canada, she drinks 4 alcoholic drinks a day.
She does?
Yeah, like that seems like on the edge of a lot, but she's doing pretty good. So,
Yeah, no, she's. I don't know. I mean, that's what my wife does.
But she's married to you.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Sometimes more, sometimes less.
That was
George Burns smoked cigars till he was 92. Doesn't mean
there's a definite genetic component to all that stuff. That you're definitely giving yourself a better shot by being a vegetarian, not smoking, and all that stuff for sure. But
she's 91. At that point, it doesn't matter.
Well, right. No, and she come and obviously, kings and queens. I mean, when you go through history, not to get too far off the topic, but they drank a ton. There was if you want to hear about drinking, you got to read Ben Franklin's biography. And that was like, I mean, those guys in the colonial times, they just, I mean, granted, it was the only safe thing to do, but really the only safe drinks they could get. But they had, I mean, they were for breakfast, lunch, dinner, in between meals, and at night, they were drinking constantly.
No joke. When I was leaving Philly yesterday, Ben Franklin jaywalked in front of my car. And I'm thinking, would the guy who plays Ben Franklin ever get a ticket from the police for jaywalking? Like, that would be like a big headline, wouldn't it? Ben Franklin gets jaywalking ticket. Like, it would be great.
He'd get a ticket unless he was flying a kite at the same time.
No, but he looked like he was getting to something across the street, some sort of,
right.
Probably the guided tour that he does, probably does 20 of them a day. And so
there's a couple of them, but it's a little bit like Santa.
Okay.
But so there are a couple of them, but there's the ones who are really good Ben Franklins. I mean, I'm convinced that somebody looks like Ben Franklin in the world, they end up coming to Philadelphia and getting work. That's like what you can do. All right, so moving back to hockey.
Back to hockey.
By the way, watch The Crown, the show The Crown. That's all about Queen Elizabeth. It's really, really good. If you like historical, which you would love, Mike. Have you seen The Crown?
I've seen The Crown.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I thought it was
yes, really. And the only thing that I find, as usual with most historical films or historical miniseries, the female who plays Queen Elizabeth is much more attractive than the actual Queen Elizabeth. And
now you're ripping Queen Elizabeth.
And Queen Elizabeth is not an unattractive woman, but this.
No, you're digging yourself a ditch here, Mike.
But the girl who plays her name is Claire.
Oh, yeah, I mean, she didn't grow up. She also probably Queen Elizabeth, the real Queen Elizabeth, probably never had braces either. Right. But I do agree with you. All right, so.
Wow, you guys are ripping on the Queen. Unreal.
Couple fun things I wanted to get into today. First of all, Babcock was probably watching our show yesterday because he came out with a quote. I don't know if you guys saw this or not.
Yes.
On the Leafs' success and Matthews. This is a Sportsnet story, and he comes out and says 1 year doesn't make a career. Mm-hmm. You should have done it the right way. 1 year does not a career make. He said 1 year does not make a career. And so he's not crowning him as the next. So this article by Sonny Sadeva, right? That's how to say his name.
I don't know. I'm not sure about that pronunciation.
Yeah, it's a really good story. It's on Sportsnet. I've got to stop it from playing right now because it's going to. Yeah, it's really, and so we talked about this yesterday. If you go back to yesterday.
Just close the window.
Close it.
I can't stop it. All right, I'm trying. All right, so we had a good discussion yesterday with Kevin Allen and Tom Laidlaw of Laidlaw and Allen, the podcast, which you have to watch. We had a good talk with them yesterday about Matthews and McDavid, where we had all kind of said that Matthews might be ahead of my question I asked last week about the 2035 top 100 list. They actually were both in the McDavid camp as to that he would be ahead on that list, even after we discussed the factors that that are involved. But
but Kevin agreed with my approach that if the Leafs are better set up to, and I think that I think most people think McDavid's going to score more points in his career, but there's a distinct possibility that the Leafs could win more Stanley Cups with Matthews than Edmonton with McDavid. And if that's the case, then I think that the lesser points will be made up by the number of championships. And the fact that I think Matthews will, unless there's a dramatic change and McDavid is a great player and probably can later in his career be a better defensive player than he is right now. He's a pretty good defensive player, but he's he could be a better defensive player. But Matthews already at 19 years old is a very good two-way player and has the size to be, as well as a great offensive center, to be a guy who can shut down another forward. So, I think that Matthews could be on par or even ahead of McDavid, depending on the Leafs winning Stanley Cups.
I think here's the funny thing about Matthews. If he ever slows down, I think he can make a living in the crease like Phil Esposito.
Yeah, like he's
a lot of those guys did, because he has the hands for it too. So that's just another.
That is very true, because he's more than his hands are so good, and his presence around the net is so strong. He does have like that, even though the Phyllis Zito / like Tim Kerr type thing about him.
Yeah.
Right.
And when he loses his speed.
And he's got the passing ability to, I mean, I don't think he's as great a passer as Joe Thornton, but Joe Thornton has lost a lot of his speed, and I think Matthews could in the second half of his career be like that as a playmaker.
Yeah. The New Jersey Devils are going to retire Patrick Eliash's number 26 on February 24th, and so Patrick Elias, who some were wondering if he was going to return or not. He's sort of as did he officially retire? I don't remember him saying he was officially.
I think in the last month he officially.
Okay, I must have missed it because I know he was trying to get back to play one more time. One of them, and I just want to talk about Elias for a second because he's one of the most underrated players of our time. I think just in terms of what he brought. I mean, he is a huge part. At times was the best, most skilled forward on a team that won Stanley Cups. Like he really was, and he very much flew under the radar.
Even on all-star teams, when you'd walk in the locker room, he was flying under the radar.
Yeah, he just is, and he was so, he was such a big part of that, and it's good for I also couldn't help but laugh about like the Devils retiring numbers, which I think. It's something that they were doing. I know they've retired. I believe they retired Niedermayer's number and Stevens' number. Correct?
Yeah, I believe they have.
Bergeron's number, right? But this will be the first forward, right? I think that, and Danenko, I think, is retired too, if I remember right.
Danenko, yeah.
Well, I mean, if you look at the history of the Devils, I mean, how many?
Yeah, I know they haven't had a lot of high-scoring forwards. Patrick, that's why I think Elias is their best. He's probably their number one scorer of all time, right? And
most of their forwards have been sort of transigent, or they come in for a few years. Yeah. I mean, Elias is the one who stayed the longest. Said he was a lifetime Devil, but guys like McGillney came in for 3 or 4 years and then left. So
yeah, I mean, who do you think of as the big Devils forwards over the years? After Elias, it's like it's hard. Like I think of like Bobby Holik, who was there for
John McLean.
John McLean, who's not really. He's like a second line player in a lot of ways.
I'd say Ben Thompson. That's what I would say.
Ben Thompson.
Ben Thompson. I'm like, what the heck is that? I know.
He's a Devil. Look it up.
Jim Dowd.
How about Rocky Trottier and Neil Brady? How about that?
Yeah. No, I just think that there's been so few. I mean, Jagr, right? I mean, I guess we think of Jagr almost, and he was the Devil towards the.
Kovalchuk wasn't there long enough. It's true. There's not the base of offensive talent, yet they still won cups. But really, it was on defense in the net,
right?
That's produced a lot of their greatness.
They didn't need a lot of goals to win games. It's like score 3 goals and you're going to win on most nights, especially in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, and they. I mean, I remember, there was a real. I mean, I guess what the Gianta, like he's another one. But these are all.
Yeah.
They're all kind of grinding scorers, like they're all like when you think about
Lemieux.
But Elias was probably
Claude Lemieux, if you wanted to get to that next level of guy, Claude Lemieux is the guy.
Yeah.
Because he meant more than just scoring to that team.
Yeah.
He really did. He definitely helped that team win Stanley Cups for no question about it.
Yeah, I mean, he was an intimidator, he was a pain in the ass, he was a scorer, he deflected in the locker room. Like, he did a lot of things for that franchise.
I'm looking up the Devils scoring leaders just because I was curious. Devils career leaders. Here we go. So, just in points.
Peter Sikora.
So
Sikora would be a guy that might be up there in points.
Jason Arnott.
All right, so points. There's one we're forgetting. So Patrick Elias is number 1 in points with 1,025 points.
Sure.
And he's probably the only he's definitely the only Devil with 1,000 points. Because after that, you get John McLean with 701 points.
Right.
Then Kirk Muller, we forget Kirk Muller.
Kirk Muller.
He only had 520 points in his career, Kirk Muller. I would have guessed he had more than 520 points.
Yeah, he was a combination, like, tough to play against guy, score occasionally. I never really, 20-goal guy max, but not every year.
And you remember he got traded in his mid-20s. I mean, he was
And then Gomez with 484 points.
Yeah, and Gomez was a really terrific scorer probably for like 6 years.
Yeah.
And then he started to go down incrementally. I'll tell you a guy who was unheralded scoring, but he only could never get off the fourth line, so he would never have enough points, would be John Madden. Like, he was definitely a devil.
Yeah,
John Madden was the captain of those teams, you know, in a lot of ways. Like, and it was officially, like, I think, for a while. But even when Stevens was the captain, I always got the impression that Madden was the real captain of that team.
Gomez went down just in time to go to the Rangers.
But I mean, Gomez did have 80-point seasons. Like, we can't take that away from him.
Yeah, but not many, because he only had 484 points his career.
Right.
Something that, like, for a guy that made about, how many people have made as much money as Gomez have made on 484 points? I mean, that's like
Wade Redden,
darn significant. I mean, Niedermayer's their fifth leading scorer.
Bobby Holik,
David Clarkson.
Where's Bobby Holik on the list?
Holik is number 6.
Okay.
Aaron Bratton's number 7.
He made a lot of money after that from the same team that Scott Gomez made a lot of money from.
And Aaron Bratton, who's really not even the best Bratton.
Now you're killing Aaron Bratton.
No, I like Aaron Bratton.
Queen Elizabeth, Aaron
Bratton.
Bratton.
I mean, come on, he's not the best Bratton. Neil Bratton was a way better Bratton.
I mean, I think that's true, but, you know, I don't know if I want to say way better.
If your team has Aaron Bratton in the top 10 of all-time scorers and has won as many Stanley Cups as they've won, that's just astonishing. I mean, I think, like, really. I mean, Travis Zajac is number 8 in their all-time scorers.
That's crazy. I wouldn't have realized he got that high already on the team.
And Zach Parise is number 10.
Yeah, Parise, if he had stayed there, would have been the all-time guy.
Parise is probably the most talented, right? Like,
I think Henrique has a chance to be where Elias is.
Yeah.
Personally, my favorite Broughton was Paul Broughton.
Favorite Broughton was Paul Broughton. Yeah, I like Paul Broughton too. He was, especially in Stratomatic, I remember his card.
Oh boy, here we go.
No, but all right. Anyway, so Patrick Elias, and you know, the one thing we always bring up, this funny story about the Devils, is like, you know, Patrick Elias's number. At least this means probably that no, like, you know, like, guy out of juniors is going to wear Patrick Elias's number in preseason. Like that we.
Yeah.
I remember when Niedermayer was traded, Russ, and sitting in the press box with you, and they got the Flyers. It's a Flyers Devils preseason game in Trenton, I think, or something like that. And this guy skates on the ice with number 27. And I'm like, what the hell is that? I mean, Niedermayer's had how many Stanley Cups? He was just moved out of here 2 months ago.
But you know how Lou was? Lou was like, listen, every number, you know, everybody wears the crest. Numbers don't mean anything. And Lou would give out those numbers.
I mean, I think he must have forced him to, because like, what hockey player in their right mind would have taken number 27? Like, he must have said, you're going to wear number 27, because I believe.
No, I don't think so.
You think a player?
The trainer just handed it out. That's how they do it. If you don't ask for a number, the trainer just gives you a jersey. That's it.
They just gave out number, like, when you're given a trainer jersey, you're given like the number 62 or something like that. Like, you're not given number 27.
Maybe someone was wearing 62.
All I know is that in Toronto, 2 of the greatest Maple Leafs wore number 27, Frank Mahovlich and Daryl Sittler, and Harold Ballard in the late in the 80s, after Sittler had been traded. I think they purposely gave 27 to Dave Semenko, John Kordick, and Miroslav Inachak. It was just like a stab in the back to Mahovlich and to Sittler.
Oh yeah, totally.
We don't get too crazy about this numbers thing, though. We do. I mean,
number 27, we found out last year, is the highest scoring number in the NHL. So
we did find that out. Actually, the Devils have never had a number 62. There you go.
There you go.
That's why they didn't give it out.
So look at these. These are the categories that Patrick Elias leads in all time for the Devils. Ready?
Yeah.
Goals, assists, and points. So all 3 of them. Goals created. Even strength goals, power play goals, game-winning goals, shots, shooting percentage, hat tricks. And here's and you'll never guess. Adjusted goals, adjusted assists, adjusted points. What are those exactly?
Don't worry about that. That's, to me, it's not even worth going into.
Total goals on ice for. So here you go. It's just crazy. I mean, his stats. Now, you will never in a million years guess the player who played for the Devils. Okay, and I don't even think of him as a Devil. who leads the Devils in points per game.
Points per game for the Devils.
I don't know how many games. I'm trying to find out how many games he played for the Devils. Hold on.
Yeah, it'd be something if he played like 12 games, but
Right.
Yeah, he may have. This is really. I don't even see him on here as playing for the Devils.
Okay, so then don't even bother.
It's really strange. Why is he on here? I'm looking at his NHL things.
I'm sure Kovalchuk's pretty high because the seasons he had were really good.
Right, Lanny McDonald. It lists as the number.
no, that was with Colorado. That's why.
That was with Colorado. Thank you.
That's like saying Wendell Clark was a great Blackhawk. Come on.
Ilya Kovalchuk, number 4 in points per game as a Devil.
Right, Mike? Did you cry when Wendell Clark was a Blackhawk? You did? Okay.
Kirk Muller, more points per game than Ilya Kovalchuk as a Devil.
Yeah, but he played a lot more.
No, points per game. I'm talking about
points per game. Okay.
Kirk Muller, more points per game.
That's surprising. Was he hurt a lot?
Kirk Muller, I think, was hurt a lot, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably why.
It's because let's look at it. I always liked Kirk Muller, and of course he's a coach.
Me too.
Now.
I sat next to him on the plane. Nice guy.
He was hurt a lot as his career went on. Early in his career,
But not early in his career, though. I mean,
no, not early in his career. He played like 80 games. He played a ton of games early in his career, but then from 95 on.
Yeah, after he got to the Leafs. Yeah, that.
Right.
He was included in that three-way trade that ended up resulting, I believe, in oh God, it was a three-way trade between the Islanders and the Montreal Islanders and the Ottawa Senators.
There you go.
And Muller ended up with the Leafs because he was from Kingston, Ontario, like Doug Gilmour was, but it just it was late in his career and he didn't have much left.
Right. All right. So next up on the list of exciting things to talk about today.
Well, let's talk about this because I think what's that?
We have a signing to talk about.
Yes.
And that would be another Minnesota Wild signing. Minnesota's resigned Michael Granlund to a 3-year deal. 3-year deal with which is a short deal for Granlund. With an AAV of $5.75 million.
Yeah, that's a bridge deal. They don't have any big money to give him.
Yeah.
Well, they can't give him long term. I bet. Okay, this is the thing. They can't give him long term money right now. They can give him long term money after the contract of somebody like Mikko Koivu expires in a couple years.
Right.
Maybe it's 1 or 2 years. But with those onerous contracts of Zach Parise and Ryan Suter right now, I think that it sort of cripples the Wild in terms of what they want to spend on other players. And maybe in a couple of years, the things are a little have been cleared up a little bit that they can extend Granlund, or if he starts to slip, then they don't have to go that way.
Are they still paying? Are they still paying Backstrom's contract?
No, he was a UFA. It expired.
I didn't know if they bought him out, and I couldn't remember. Oh, they couldn't because he was injured. That's right.
Right.
And before we go on to the next thing, Mike, you had there, I want to show one thing here that I thought was kind of interesting. The jerseys are being made by Adidas, and that is changing this year. And we haven't really seen all of them completely designed out as any changes. And a lot of them aren't changing all that much. Although one change I really like in them. Someone told me this, and I haven't necessarily. It's not really seen here. And I'm about to show you, but is that the logos are going to be larger than ever before. The actual size of the logo is going to be bigger.
Well, that'll be interesting, specifically to Toronto, because last year when they changed the emblem, they made it bigger already.
Maybe overall, I think that maybe they'll keep them where they were. Here's some look. We got the first look here. This is from NHL 18 site. So this is kind of like leaked out. Not really necessarily what they want to do, but they had here's the jerseys from NHL 18.
Yeah, because they're already in beta version. I actually just put up on Sportsology a new video. So yeah, you're getting to see this stuff.
Yeah, you're getting to see the jerseys. I like the Devils one. I'm going to throw that out there right now.
I do too.
I think that's very hip and very. The one thing I like about the Devils that they have done, and they didn't do this in the beginning, but they went for a classic look. In the very beginning, their green one was sort of trying to be hip and modern for the time, but then they went to this, which is like this. I'm a big fan of the classic collegiate type look. And that's what this is. The Devils are. The Islanders, I like the big orange band on the bottom. I like that. That's kind of cool. It's a little bit bigger, I think, than normal.
It looks bigger than normal. I grant you that.
Now the Flyers band, I think all these bands on the bottom seem a little.
Oh, the Flyers band looks like a cummerbund.
Yeah, it looks a lot bigger. I heard someone told me the Flyers logo. Now the logo sizes on this might not be similar, but
they may not be to scale. That's the problem with this.
Yeah, but I've heard they're going to be bigger, and I've heard the numbers are going to be larger as well, which is a really great thing for people like me who watch from the press box, who want numbers bigger and clearer to read. Like I'm such a big fan of the of the new jerseys, because you can see them so well. Atlantic Division, I think the Panthers looks all right. It's kind of pretty cool.
I think the triple line there with the Sabres does not look good.
Triple line with the Sabres.
I have to agree with Mike on that. Not a big fan of that.
And then down area, and I think Tampa's jersey is kind of like finally working. For me, it took a while for Tampa's jersey to work. They went through so many different iterations.
Yeah, the Tampa jersey now looks really good.
Yeah,
I don't know what the deal is with this other Leafs jersey not existing here. It's pretty funny. It's just in gray.
It's the road.
Those are for the departed Leafs.
It's the road. It's the road grays, is what it is.
It'd be playing with the road gray with nothing on it at all.
Yes.
That'd be something. Then
I think that's the jersey that Brandon Prust wore a year ago.
It says away jersey will be revealed at a later date. So
yeah, so there must be something cool about that, or something that they don't want to get out there right now because they're afraid people are going to freak out. One or the other. Then I like the Wild. I like the Wild.
Yeah, I like the Wild a lot. Me too.
I like the Avalanche actually.
Yeah, they look pretty good too.
It depends. If they don't have the Bigfoot patch, then I don't like it on the side. I like the Bigfoot patch.
I'm with you 100% on that, Russ. The Predators one, one of the Predators is to be revealed later as well.
Yeah, that looks good.
I really like this. I do think that I want this not to be too yellow though. Like there's something about the Predators mustard color that I like so much.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. The Predator has a real overbite problem. It looks worse than it used to be.
Yes.
It needs braces.
I don't think it could possibly exist or eat with that small of a lower jaw.
Yeah, I don't think it's possible.
I'm with you on that. This Blue Note is enormous.
The Predator needs an orthodontist.
Yeah.
We just say the Winnipeg Jets, they need to try harder. To me, this jersey still doesn't. I want the old Jets jerseys back so badly, I guess. But
I like the home. I do not like the away.
Yeah, I don't like the light blue stripes on the outside.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, I like the stripes. I'm not a big fan of the Pacific Division. I'm not a big fan. I like the Oilers. I think this is a step down. Like I thought the Oilers orange that they had recently was pretty good. Although I think the Oilers need to go back to being blue. I don't.
They do need to go back to being blue. I don't like the orange.
No, I think that they're
too much like the Islanders.
Yeah, there's only one orange team.
I wish the NHL would go to what the American Hockey League is doing, and in the first half of the year they wear the home.
I like this. Yeah,
the home team wears the light jersey, and the road team wears the dark jersey. And in the second half of the year they flip flop, because I think it's disappointing to see like the road team always in the white jersey and the home team always in for the Leafs the dark blue, or for the Sabres. It's really boring and annoying. And one of the things that was nice was you'd see all these different teams come in with the different color jerseys, red or black or whatever, and you never get to see that anymore.
I agree with that. And and I want to say the one thing that I honestly do like more is the fact that and I never thought I'd be this way, because I was totally against going to the home dark jerseys, but I've grown to like it. Like I've grown to like the fact that home jerseys are dark, because they usually are the more interesting jerseys for teams. So I think
some are. I mean, I like the Calgary away jersey better than I like the home jersey.
Yeah, the Calgary away jersey is pretty nice. And then the Knights jersey. So here's the funny thing about the Knights jersey. I have a friend who lives in Vegas, and he's a huge hockey fan, and he had a birthday. So I went online to try to order a Las Vegas Golden Knights jersey for him. Like I thought that'd be a fun thing to do. What the heck, and I wanted one for my studio too, because I have a jersey collection over there. So I go online, and you can't order them yet. You still can't order them as of now.
Really?
Yeah, you still can't order. You can only get T-shirts and hats. They don't.
Wow.
Jersey is not for sale. And they say that you have to put when you look for it, the best you can find on the NHL.com is it's something where you leave your email that will tell you when it's available, and it says it'll be made overseas and it'll be shipped later, and it won't be until like the middle of September at the earliest.
All right, I'm going to go out on a limb here and let everybody know I hate these Kings jerseys. Go back to the original. I hate. I am not a fan. I don't like either one of them.
And I know I'll get I know that I will get a disagreement from Eck, but I cannot stand the Orca emblem for the Vancouver Canucks. Bring back the rink and the stick.
The rink and the stick.
That's the classic.
That is the classic Canucks. I think that would be a good idea. I'm with Mike on that one.
No, if you're gonna do the Canucks jersey, you got to do the giant.
No. Not the V, not the ugly V.
No, not the clown suit, not the
that was the coolest jersey of all time. Those looked amazing when you saw them live. The big V things, they were so freaking
ugly.
No, I love
Harold Schneps looked like a court jester.
I'm kind of with you on the
That's
Kings.
why Tiger Williams got into a lot of fights because people were making fun of his jersey.
Right.
Kind of with you on the Kings thing. I think the Kings have like this jersey since they had the success in it. Has become their jersey.
I mean, okay, if we know that the Kings wanted to get away from the Jerry Buss, L.A. Lakers comparison. They wanted to get away from the purple and the gold. But honestly, I mean, the only memories I have that are pleasant of the L.A. Kings is the Triple Crown line and back in the 70s and the 80s with them wearing purple and gold
in these jerseys.
Well, so what?
Those are good memories. I mean, I think that. I mean, what's funny is that they've never gone back to the Gretzky jersey.
Well, that's the thing. I would love to see Kopitar in a retro jersey. Like, I think it would be great.
Like we've seen. I mean, they wear the gold ones, and there will be no third jerseys this year, right? So that's
right.
That's kind of sad in a lot of ways.
That's all right.
I mean, I do like their third jerseys a lot, which were the old either the purple and they wear the yellow sometimes too, and those are cool. I do like the fact that Predator's the only yellow team right now. I think that's kind of cool. But I don't know. I'm funny. It's funny. The Vancouver thing. I don't love this jersey. I'm agreeing with you 100%. Like I don't think this is the best jersey.
I like the road one better than the home, regardless.
Bring back the rink. Bring back the rink.
The rink one is so terrible, though.
It's not.
That logo is so invented by.
I gotta re-look at the old jersey. Hold on, I gotta look at that.
It is great. I love it. I absolutely love it.
No, it isn't. I mean, I'll bring it up. I'll bring up the Vancouver Canuck jersey here. 1 second. It's like, completely. No, it was totally ridiculous. I mean, that was a completely ridiculous jersey for such a long time. Anyway, oh man, I think so.
I thought it was classic. Well, while you're looking that up, I thought the more important signing of yesterday was the Carolina Hurricanes locking up Brett Pesce, the defenseman. 6-year contract, making a little over $4 million. And as soon as I saw that, and I was writing my blog at the time, and not everything has to do with the Leafs, but the Leafs being one of the few teams out there that I think, are looking to add what I would say as a top 4 defenseman. If they're, if Lou Lamoriello is still in that pursuit, which I think they are, he should look to Carolina, because this is Carolina's situation right now. Justin Falk is under contract for another 3 years at $4.8 million. They've just signed Slavin for 7 years, making $5.3. Now they've extended Pesce. So after this year, you've got 3 defensemen making over $4 million. You will have Noah Hannafin as an RFA. You will have Trevor Van Riemsdyk as an RFA. And you will also have 2 first-round picks in Jake Bean and Hayden Fleury in the pipeline. That tells me you've got too many defensemen. And now you can never have too many defensemen. You can say that.
Right. That's the thing. They're going to have control over all of them.
They're going to have control over all of them.
Except for Van Riemsdyk, they could let him go.
Right. But why would they traded for him because he was Pesce's defensive partner in college, and they like him. And there's something about Blackhawks with the Hurricanes. But this is the thing. Yes, you can control all of them, but what is the best way for you to add a goal-scoring forward, which is, I think, the difference between them being a non-playoff team and a playoff team, and that's getting a defenseman. That's a team like Toronto and a few other teams out there who are loaded at forward and need defense. So I'm gonna put up my Karnak hat my prediction hat on and say that within 12 months you're going to see Falk or you're going to see Hanifin dealt, because I
don't
think
so. I think they're just going to sign Hanifin to a bridge deal.
Well,
Same with Trouba.
I'm talking about as an asset, Russ. I mean, yes, they can do a Trouba with him. They can lock him up on a bridge deal, but okay. You've locked up 2 other guys on long-term deals, and now this guy he's going to be on the track where he's going to be a free agent at 25 years old. It's better for him and it's better for them if they get that,
Yeah, but like here's the thing. Like if I'm looking at it, they may let Falk just ride out his deal, because when he rides out his deal, then Bean will truly be ready. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. I mean, I don't think you're going to see a lot of movement out of them. I just don't.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I kind of agree with Russ.
Yeah, I think you are. I think you are going to see movement out of them because that team wants to make the playoffs. I think they need to make the playoffs in the next couple of years for revenue reasons more than anything. And if you look at their forward complement, they've gotten better. They have Aho, they have Teravainen, Lindholm, Stahl and Skinner, but they're missing that one big scorer. If it's a scoring winger,
or could be that guy. Jeremy Waugh is dynamic in the.
But he's as far away as Bean is.
No, he's not. No. He's much closer. He's already like 3 years in juniors, and he's big and he's powerful. No,
I'm not saying that's not a positive. I'm saying somebody established. I mean, they went out and they spent money to sign Justin Williams. Okay, that shows to me that they were desperate for offense. But I think they need, on top of that, they need a Matt Duchene or a James Van Riemsdyk or someone of that ilk to come in and be like on their top line or on their second line and provide offense. Because if they get another scorer, I think that team in a very tough Metro division is a playoff team. I really do. But I think that the price that they're going to have to pay.
Nicholas, I get the two of them mixed up.
Yeah, the price that they're going to have to pay is probably trading one of those defensemen, whether it be one of the young ones or whether it be a guy like Falk, who's got 3 years left in his deal, or Hanifin, who is a very big prospect. That's the price you're going to have to pay to get guaranteed offense. And I think that
Mike, just to update it, sorry, Nikolai Waugh finished out juniors now. He's definitely playing for Charlotte at the minimum this year, and he's 6'4", 207. Like he's like a year away.
Right, and Russ, I'm not saying he's not going to make the NHL. I'm saying, there's no guarantee he's going to be the big goal scorer that they're looking for.
Well, he had 36 goals and 48 goals in juniors.
Yeah,
great in the World Juniors. He had 3 goals there, and he's a massive center. Like I just think.
It's possible, but I'm saying it's just.
I don't think they're dealing for it. I don't think so.
Okay.
All right. All this is very important, but this is more important. All right. So here's the Canucks jerseys through time. All right. So we can check this out here.
The best one is on the bottom left, and that one is great, and then the one in the top left is.
The bottom left is the right one. It's the best one. I didn't mind the one during the Pavel Bore era, but it was a little like dinerish. It looked like a diner neon sign.
Yeah, the absolute worst one is the one on the bottom right, the red and black with the orange.
Yeah, that I don't know. I actually think the worst one is 3 from the top on the right. This reddish one that has.
That's bad. The flying V is the worst.
Yeah, awesome.
That's court jester material. The yellow one with the V is horrific.
No, the flying V was amazing, and you got completely wrong.
Thomas Gradin and Stan Smeals should sue the Vancouver Canucks for damage to their psyche for having to wear that jersey.
Not at all. You're totally wrong. I mean, look at this. I want to show you something. This is impressive. Right? This is look at this for a team picture. Tell me this doesn't get your attention. Ready? Here it comes. Bam. This is a team picture.
Yeah, that's like when your mother shows that picture of you when you were in first grade wearing a turtleneck, and you're wondering, why am I wearing a turtleneck? Why do I look like a sailor? Like it's a horrific picture.
So 70s though.
Horrible.
Yeah, we really 70s though. Really encapsulated the time.
Look at those pants. Come on.
I know the pants are equally amazing. I know. Yeah, I totally agree. I'm just saying. I
wouldn't wear that for Halloween.
All right. Well, let's answer a question from our viewers on YouTube.
Let's not say we did.
We're going to go to YouTube. because someone actually starts out a comment in a way that's never been started out before on YouTube.
Okay.
Hey,
I
loser.
agree with you, Eck. They say. Let's just say this. This is, when I saw this, I'm like, I get notifications when comments are made on YouTube. Of course, they show up on my phone or different places. And when I say I agree with you, Eck, I'm like, right on, man. Thank you.
Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
But even if they say I agree with you and then kill you, you're okay with that?
No, they don't kill me. Larry, here's where you go. Ready?
Because sometimes people do that. Yeah, okay.
Now I'm highlighting this comment I'm giving a big thumbs up to this comment right now. I like this comment. All right. All right. I agree with you, Eck. They should use the offer sheets. It would make things more interesting. Unfortunately and realistically, though, they weigh risk benefit, and most of the time there's no benefit because the sheets are matched. The risk is too great. Holmgren himself said that one of the reasons he agreed to move up to the president's job was because the other GMs had some negative feelings for him for trying to get Weber. Poyle didn't have to be the one who retaliated. It's everyone else that was the problem. No one wanted to deal with Holmgren. I even heard a rumor that when Vinny LeCavier was still here, there was a potential deal to send him to Nashville to play for Lavi, and Poyle shot it down because he didn't want to help the Flyers cap situation due to Holmgren having damaged the Preds. I'm not sure if this is true or not, but it would make some sense.
I have no idea.
I don't think that's true, Brandon. I do know that deal was there was definitely discussed at a point. There was no question about that. There was stuff going on to extend possibly Vinny to Nashville, but I don't think it had anything. I really don't think. I mean, Poyle is not the vindictive type either. So, like, of all the GMs, I don't think he's the guy you have to worry about. I mean, listen. I've said for all the reasons that you said there, you're absolutely right. I agree with you as well.
And it wouldn't be the first time that the Predators took an injury-prone over-the-hill center from the Flyers.
Right, that's true. So we'll see what happens. But in the future, maybe there'll be. I mean, I don't know that Paul Holmgren stepped. I don't think it had anything to do with Paul Holmgren stepping up. I don't think that. I think he had. So people respect Homer big time throughout the league. They trust him. And
here's the thing: I don't think it was Paul Holmgren who came up with the idea to get Shea Weber. I think it was people who managed the cap.
I totally agree with you.
Nashville's cap that said, "Hey, there's an opportunity here." That's what really happened, I believe.
I think this was Ed Snyder saying, "Go get Shea Weber," because Chris Pronger.
Yeah, but somebody had to bring it to his attention. Ed Snyder's not looking out, knowing where people's contracts are. Someone else brought it to his attention.
Someone brought it to his attention, sure, but it wouldn't take a lot to bring it to his attention.
The same guy who brought Ilya Brzgalov to his attention.
Stop it. Stop it.
No, but I mean, I think for sure, I mean, the difference, as close as all these and as respected as all these people are, remember Poyle, he grew up around the Flyers.
Yeah.
Like Bud Poyle was a general manager of the Flyers early on in their existence. So when you talk to David, I've talked to David Poyle about this before, he'll talk to you about how great his memory is of running around the spectrum and being with the Flyers early in his life, and how he really wanted the Predators to be modeled after the Flyers, and that's how he sees it. So I don't think that and as much as Ed Snyder was respected, Ed Snyder would not miss a trick if it meant something that could benefit the Flyers. There's no.
No, that's true. I mean, that's 100% grant that. You're right.
Yeah, he did.
Someone brought it to his attention, like.
Right. I mean, if there was a loophole, he and Bobby Clark loved loopholes. They loved finding them, and to them, I think the RFA offer sheet thing was a big loophole, and that's how they saw it. They're like, "Here's a loophole." They brought Shea Weber into Philly. Shea Weber had a great experience here. He signed the offer sheet. This was not just like a fake thing. This was.
Oh no, it wasn't a fake thing.
They really thought they could get him. He wanted to come here. All those are 100% true. They also wanted to keep him away from the Rangers. That's 100% true as well.
Yeah, but they weren't doing it just to inflate Nashville's price. They didn't do that.
I really don't think so. But at the same time, I mean, the $25 million up front.
Well, they knew that, hey, this could be a deal that they can't afford, but they didn't go out to make this deal by saying, let's screw Nashville. No, they wanted the player. That's what they wanted.
The Flyers organization had done that in the past. They did it with Ryan Kessler years back. So, they did
it with Chris Gratton, if you remember, and then they tried. But then with Chris Gratton, they ended up.
I love the theory behind that, though, because remember, Chris Gratton played against Eric Lindros in a playoff series, Philadelphia versus Tampa, and Gratton was one of the only people who could neutralize Lindros or was effective against him because he was a big-bodied center like Lindros was. So Bobby Clark decided, okay, I'm going to sign this guy, and he wasn't that good. Chris Gratton was never that good of a player.
Yeah, Chris Gratton was signed for way too much money. He had a really not a great Philadelphia career at all.
No, and then he ended up going back to Tampa.
Yeah, for all the hoopla that was around him. But you remember the Flyers traded. They ended up trading for him, and they ended up giving him even after the deal was done. They ended up giving him other players because the NHL sort of said you have to.
Yeah.
This is before the compensation was all figured out for RFAs and everything like that.
Well, and that there was another transaction that was sort of like that too. The Leafs found some sort of loophole and signed Dmitry Kristich away from the Boston Bruins. Yeah. And they ended up having to give them. There was no compensation needed, but they ended up giving them a second-round pick anyway. And then they had to cut a player, and the guy who they cut, who got picked up by another team, was actually had a better career in the NHL than Dmitry Kristich. It was Steve
but
Sullivan.
Mike, you got pissed off when the guy did that in your fantasy baseball league.
Fantasy hockey.
It was fantasy hockey. Okay.
But if you remember, with the Chris Gratton, didn't the Flyers end up having to send Michael Renberg the other way?
Yeah, Renberg won.
Gratton trade,
right?
Which was crazy because he's part of the Legion of Doom line.
Right.
Well, remember under previous CBAs, compensation was not just draft picks, or it could be players. I mean, wasn't the compensation for Brendan Shanahan, Scott Stevens? Wasn't it that? So I mean that's
look, compensation for the Rangers and Michel Bergeron was a first-round pick.
Right.
They had to give him a first-round pick.
Right, that's true. So that's the crazy. But appreciate it. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe on YouTube. We really
only nice comments. Keep it nice.
Oh, they can be what you feel. We're not going to read not nice comments on the air for sure.
We're not limiting your not nice.
We're not limiting your freedom of expression. We're just limiting.
No, we're limiting you have the freedom. You have freedom of expression. You just don't. You don't have freedom to be mentioned on a podcast.
Right.
So
this is a positive show.
Just like we always say, there's freedom of the press, but not freedom of credentialing.
Yeah.
That's been a comment. We've known that for years, right? So, team can't stop you from writing about them, but they can stop you from having access to them. But yeah, that's all we'll say about that. Remember, without the buzz, it is just hockey. We will talk to you tomorrow.